All right. So today I wanted to talk about, everybody, hold on. I wanted to talk about, oh wait, what did that premium Christmas? Okay. I wanted to talk about getting what you really, really want. And so I wasn't sure how to title that because I felt like I really wanted to, like, what I'm thinking of when it comes to getting what you want is I'm always trying to go after that gut, like, desire, like what's in your deep down heart and soul, what it is you really want. And it's interesting, I heard yesterday this girl, she was saying that she heard the definition of hell is when you get to the end of your life and you get to see what your life could have been had you just went for what you really wanted. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. Like when you really stop and let that marinate and you think of like, what, like if you're thinking from the lens of what Crystal stands for, like I believe that every single human excuse me, is born with these deep, deep, deep desires, and from that we become the person who we're supposed to become on the journey of chasing after those things. And so we grow into the person, a better and better version of ourselves, because in order to receive more you have to give more and do more. And so when I think of it like that, I'm just thinking like how many people are ignoring the deep desires of their heart because of fear or lack of resources or not knowing what to do or because of past trauma or whatever the reasons are that hold us back. So my 3 ways I believe you can get everything you want. And it's interesting because as I was going through these notes, I was thinking like, and this is what I meant when I was saying I didn't know what to title it, because I was thinking like, you don't get everything you want. That's just not life. Like that's just not realistic. Because for example, I want a boy. Like clearly I have 5 daughters and I'm not getting what I want. Like I can't just apply these 3 things I'm going to give you today and boom, a boy is going to come into my life. So the number one thing is getting clear on what is in the way of the things that you want and identifying, are you not getting what you want because you're not believing you can have it and you're not setting yourself up and doing the work? Or are you not getting what you want because maybe it's just a fleshly desire that God may not have in store for you? And so that's my best example I can give you. There's plenty of things that I want that maybe I'm not going to get. And so my number one thing is to submit your wants to God. And I believe that praying about things is, when I pray like I'm talking to the homie. Like, God, I don't even know. Like, this is how I pray for a boy. I'll be like, God, you see me. Like, you know my heart. Like, let's get real. Why are you putting this desire in my heart? I teach, like, get the desires of your heart. Why do you have me wanting a boy so bad? And then I'm not getting one. And then I'm like, but God, I also know that I have a flesh and that I have an ego and I have a pride. And maybe I just want a boy because I said I wanted a boy and I didn't get one. And so now it's like, I want what I didn't get. And I'm like, so God, like, check me. Like, you have your way in my life. Like, and that's how I talk to him. Like, so I encourage you to want everything that your heart desires, but be prepared to identify it with God. Like, God, at the end of the day, I want you to have your way in my life. And I know that maybe some things are not going to happen the way that I want them. So I think that's rule number 1. Like, just be realistic that you might not get everything you want. Now, that being said, rule number 2 is like, you still get to create vision for what you want. I still have a boy on my vision board, which is interesting because I don't know if you guys have heard this story, but last year, so before I got pregnant with Nola, my 5th, I did a vision board, and it was so funny because I put a baby boy on there, right? Well, when I was doing my vision board again more recently this year for 2019, I went and I was looking at the picture and I was like, oh my gosh, I put a freaking baby girl on there. Like, literally, it was a little baby girl, but it looks like a boy. And so I was dying laughing. So rule number 2 is, once you give it to God, still dream. Like, still put the things that you want out there. Believe you can have them. Ask God to give them to you. Have faith. Put in the work. Set the vision. but like don't determine like, oh well, I'm not going to put this on my vision board because I don't have the money right now, and who am I to want that when I have this? Like let's say you want this big lavish beautiful home. Like I'm sharing for a friend of mine, she's having this luxury event, and I was looking for a picture, and I Googled luxury houses in LA, and when I Googled them, I was like, oh, look at how beautiful this house is. Now, granted, I live in a big, beautiful house. Like, there's nothing wrong with my house, but there's nothing wrong with me wanting an even better house, right? So don't let yourself get caught up with like, well, I don't want that because I already have a roof over my head. So it's not right for me to want better and want more. Like, that's not cool. Like, you literally want everything. So rule number 1, give it to God, ask him to have his way, and just have a candid conversation with him. Like, you know what? Like, I don't even know if this is of me. Open the doors for the things that you want me to have. Close the doors of the things you want. Give me discernment to know that maybe it's just not time yet, and all of that. Number 2, set big vision. Don't hold back. Just put it all out there, because you never know. And until you claim it and set vision for it, I just don't believe that it's going to happen. And so rule number 3 is don't set vision. Like, it kind of goes off of that. Don't set vision for what you want based on your circumstances, based on comparing yourself to other people, or based on what expectations are of you. So if you're like a mom and you have a bunch of kids like me, I'm not going to like say, well, I want to travel, but I can't because I have kids. I'm going to say I want to travel and I have a bunch of kids. So I get to create, like, I know abundance and overflow is coming my way, because I'm like, God knows I want to travel the world, and I got a lot of people to put on a plane. So I'm going to be creating a lot of money to be able to do that. So don't set your wants low because of your current circumstances, or because of who you are, or what you think you should have, or what other people think you should have. Set them off of what's truly in your gut, because I believe that it's those things that are deep down inside your soul that if like God gave you that vision, he will open the doors, they will fly open for you to have a way if you believe it. And the last one, and this is, I'm not going to say one is more important than the other, but this one I think is, at the end of the day, want versus will. So you can want all kinds of things, but what are you willing to do? Are you willing to put in the work to get it? So I hear all the time, and I heard want versus will when I went to this retreat, and when the guy said that, I was like, dang, that's so deep. That's so true. Because like, I want to be healthy and not have joint pain, but I'm not willing to give up sugar. I just ate a cinnamon roll for dinner last night. Like, I want to heal my gut. It's on my vision board, heal my gut. And yet I ate a cinnamon roll for dinner. I wasn't willing to do what it takes to have the gut. So my challenge to you today is, once you evaluate what you really, really want, and then you look at the gap between here's what I want, here's where I'm at, or here's what I actually have, the gap you get to take responsibility for. Are you willing to do what it takes to actually get those things that you want? Because most people will realize that you're just not willing to do what it takes. You want a good relationship, but you're not willing to put your pride down and compromise, or not be prideful, or not be an ass like to your significant other. You want to have I don't know. And again, it goes back to like, I want to have a boy. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to have a boy, but that just might not be in my wheelhouse, right? So you have to be realistic, but you get to identify, am I doing everything I possibly can in my control to get what I want, or am I not? And like, another example of that is, I truly believe that the human spirit will find a way to get what it wants. Honestly, if I really, 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 really wanted a boy, I could literally go to the doctor and put a boy in there. But I'm not willing to go against what God has in store for me. So that's really why I don't go. But there's almost nothing in our desires that we can't go and get if we really, really wanted it, right? And so what are you willing to do? What are you not doing? What do you get to change in order to get what you want? So that was what I prepared for you guys today. I really am committed to keeping these shorter and sweeter every time, because the whole point is to have conversation. So I want to make sure that I'm opening it up. I want to redeem myself from last week if any of you guys were on the call and I'm like, they're not talking to me, I'm talking to myself, and everyone was trying to talk to me and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know. So I apologize again for anybody who's on today that was on last week. But I do want to just open it up to you guys and see if there's any comments, if anybody wants to amen, disagree, add some 2 cents, ask a question, anything. Let's I'll open it up at this time. But otherwise, that's like the things that I wanted to share with you guys when it comes to getting what you want.
I would just like to say I agree with you. Once I moved down here to LA, I've been looking for a graphic design job for like ever. And so I had an interview today, and I was recently earlier this year working for another corporation, and they ended my assignment. And so another door opened, obviously, and I had the second interview for the graphic design job today. So I'm looking at it as God seeing that I'm ready to go into my field, because I had to prepare myself for some things in order for me to really be ready for that position, I feel like. And so I'm like, I'm there. I feel like I'm finally where I need to be. Now it's just time to build experience within my field, like what I've been desiring the whole time after I graduated. So I truly believe in that and not giving up, despite, your circumstances, for sure.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing. I agree. I mean, it's like sometimes it's just the test, like the rites of passage of like, how bad do you really want it? How deep is your faith? Like sometimes God literally just brings us to our knees to depend on him, like so that he gets the glory. Like there's so many like different different reasons why we don't get what we want. But I think that like that's why I think that last one of the will is like, if there's things that you're willing to do and you're just not doing them, then you could literally probably have what you want like that if you just change something simple. And then there's times like that where it's just not time yet, or maybe you're not ready and all of that. So that's cool. Thank you for sharing.
Hi, Crystal. Can you hear me?
Marissa. Yeah, I hear you.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Awesome. So thanks so much for holding this call. I have a question for you, and I think it's more based off of your process when you decide that you want something. I think for me, let me take a step back. For me, I think my issue is really deciding what I want.
Yeah.
So I can make decisions very quickly, say at work, and what to do. But I think when it comes to my personal life, it's a lot harder for me to make decisions on what I want. So what tools do you recommend, or what process do you go through when you are trying to decide what it is that you want in certain aspects in your life?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's interesting because one of the life lessons I'm learning right now is, I don't know, I think part of the word would be empathy. I don't know, or maybe compassion. I don't know the word exactly, but I'm realizing that I'm a very much heart-centered person, but I also think one track sometimes, like a lot of times. Like, so I'll think like, I think like this, so everybody thinks like that. And the reason why I'm sharing that with you is because when it comes to my process and the way my life is set up, I have a lot of things going in my mindset. One, I'm like supreme Leo. Like I want it, I see it, I'm gonna get it. Like that's my personality. So it's interesting for me to come from the position that you're in, because literally my process is like, oh, I see that, I want that, boom. Like, and then now it's just like, I'm gonna go get it. Like, I don't have like a block of like, you shouldn't want that, or how are you gonna get that? Or it's like, I don't have that in my DNA to like not think that I can have it. Now, that being said, that's not to say that I don't have self-doubt and that I don't have fears and I don't have like a thought process, but it's literally like right now, the conversation in my household, like I want so many things. Like I literally want a chef. And I'm only talking material things. There's lots of things that are not material that I want, but I'm just talking material. I want a chef. I want a whole whole different house because I do so much social content. I'm like, my house needs to be white. Like it needs to be brighter. It's dark in here. I can't like just stupid little things to big little things. But literally I have that in my vision. Like, how am I going to get that? I'm going to get that. Okay, maybe I can't get a new house. So first thing, I want to create enough money so I can remodel my kitchen and make it brighter and blah, blah, blah. Like I literally go from what I want, I see it, like that song that's out right now is literally my brain process. Like I see it, I like it, I want it, and then I get it. And then if I don't get it, then it's kind of like with my boy situation. It's like, I want a boy so bad, and I'm just praying, like I literally pray every day for it. God, like take this away or close the door or show me that I'm not going to get a boy or show me that I am and prepare me for it. And so my question back to you is, you tell me your process, so then maybe I can help engineer your brain of how you, like where you're getting blocked. Like when you think, like, do you have an example of something you want, or are you stuck on not even having desires of things you want?
No, I think for me, it's, I know for material things, I know what I want. I think it's more when it comes to like big life decisions, or even kind of going through the exercises that I did through your program, really trying to figure out what my next career move is. Is it staying in my current role? Is it trying something on the side that's adding to the knowledge that I have related to my career, like to become some type of subject matter expert on the side, right, for folks that need recruiting help. So I think it's really like how do you make that kind of decision? And I think you get in your own head where you're like, well, I can't do that, I don't have enough time, I can't do it because of this reason, then I just overthink everything to where I don't even make a decision, because I just sit there and doubt and think all these crazy things, and finally I'm like, you know what, I'm not even going to deal with it, and I push it aside.
So my words to you would be, my mom taught me this all my life growing up. I would literally go, and I would do this today if you can, go and do a pros and a cons list for the two things that you want. Like write down the pros and the cons of staying in your job right now as you know it. Write down, like, and by pros and cons, I mean like the logistical pros and cons, like I have a commute and I have to sit in traffic on that commute, and I'm gone from my house or whatever. And then like the non-logistical cons, like I'm not really doing exactly what I want to be doing, and I'm spending we spend a lot of time at work, when like most of your life is spent at work. So like write down the pros and the cons as a whole, every negative thing and every positive thing you can possibly think of. I have a paycheck every month. I know I'm going to have a paycheck every month. I have security. I have coworkers who I love. I enjoy making a difference on the job. I'm good at my job. Like write down all your pros and your cons, and then do the pros and the cons for maybe that other thing that you're thinking of, like starting a side hustle, or because what I don't know about you is, like from what you just said, is if you're wanting to start something on the side but you're just fearful because of time, security, money, not knowing how to do it, or if you're just not even sure if there's something else. But from just the few times I've seen you share on all of our calls from the Fox Project to now, I'm sensing that there's something in there, but you're just kind of like, I don't really know like how to commit to that because I'm so used to this over here just being like it, and it's almost
that's exactly it. Yeah.
So I want to tell you two stories in one, just to give you like an example of people that like, okay, so it's actually three stories in one, but it all happened in 1 week, and so I'm gonna like make it quick. But like, okay, I have a best friend she does project management in her career, and she's really, really, really good at it. Okay. And then I have another friend who does like marketing and PR stuff for a firm, and she's really good at it. I actually met her over 10 years ago because of this job that she does. She offered to help with my husband's foundation. And then I have these two girls who do social media help for me. Like they're super talented with like video and all that. But they both work in a job, but they're younger, like they're like 21 or 22 or something. They're really young. And so they're just working like the fresh out of high school and college job, like at a restaurant and stuff like that. Okay. So all three of these people, are in their job because they need the paycheck and they like the security and they are just used to like have a job, work, get paid. But they all have a tug at their heart for, oh, and I forgot the other person. The other one is Jacqueline, which I hope she doesn't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my sister-in-law.
Okay, yes. So
Yeah.
so you know her situation. So
Yeah.
you could just use her. Like literally Jacqueline was like, I want to get out of my job because I want to have more freedom to do XYZ, but I like the security. I like this. I like that. Well, when she went with me to the sales thing the other day, she literally on a platter got offered jobs almost, like not completely, but kind of. But then it was like the fear set in of like, oh my gosh, I actually can quit my job, now what? And so I honestly think like the way you're going to have to process this, so to tie back all of those situations, literally like I convinced the 20-year-olds to quit their job. They quit. They put their 2-week notice. Because I went in on them. I was like, first of all, you guys are selfish. Like I was like going crazy on them because I was like, you don't have kids and a mortgage and all these payments that you have to put your money towards. You literally could just go sleep on your parents' couch for a month while you're like broke figuring it out and go do what you love doing and go do the work. But like when you step out like that, now I was like, but please believe like the money is out there. You guys can make the money, but you're going to have to go put in the work. So when you step out and you take that leap on yourself, it's a lot of pressure. Like, dang, now I got to figure this out. Now I got to do the work. Now I got to make the sales. Now I got to make sure that the money's coming in. And a lot of times we just don't have the self-efficacy to do that. Like we don't believe that we are going to trust ourselves enough to put in the work to figure it out. And so it's just safer to stay safe and be comfortable and eat. And so you get to literally weigh your options. What is it costing you to work in your job and stay in your job and do what you're doing right now for however long? And then what is it like against the cost that it's going to cost to be stressed out about the risks that you're taking to get out of your job and do what you love? And it's just which one means more to you. And literally like this morning I was on a call with my mentor and she was saying how she was talking to this guy who was doing a call with this girl who he was trying to help. And basically he was saying, she was saying that some people are willing to die, like they would rather die in their comfortable situation than to live with the fear of taking themselves on and living boldly in their purpose. And so you get to just ask yourself, like, one other thing that's coming to mind for you is I heard this girl share once. She shared a story of when she was at her crossroads of being in her corporate job. She was really good at it. She had all the security, all the benefits. Things were going fine, but she was unfulfilled. And she got placed with the opportunity to start her own business and go on her way. And her mentor told her, she said, what is the worst? And so I'm asking you, Marissa, like just like that woman asked her, she said, Marissa, what is the worst thing that happens if you quit your job and take yourself on and start this business you're thinking of? What's the worst that can happen?
I think it comes down to money.
Okay,
Right.
so let's say you don't have money. So then what happens when you don't have money? What are you losing?
My lifestyle.
Okay, so is your lifestyle right now worth it to you to stay in your job and stay at that level? Or would you be willing to risk your current lifestyle to probably better your lifestyle and be more fulfilled? And so it like becomes this question of asking yourself, like, what am I holding on to versus what can I grasp onto? Which one do I want more? Which one is better for me? And the truth of the matter is like, it's like, you're gonna find a way. You'll figure it out. Like you will if you really want to, but that fear factor is so intense. It's so intense. And trust me, I know. Like I know what it's like to take yourself on, and I know what it's like to like have that fear factor. But I think like you could at least start with your side hustle. You could start with like figuring that out, and then trying things and just seeing how you like them. But yeah, what's landing for you? What are you, is this helping you?
No, it is. It is. Yeah. It's good to get a different perspective and to try to pull out, what is truly important to me. Right. And then thinking about, how do I compare the two side by side and see what I truly want to do. And I think that's a really good approach. I do pros and cons for other decisions.
Yeah.
So I think I just really need to spend the time to sit down and map this out.
Yeah, and go back to the Fox project, like the module 1, where I had you guys write your story. And that's one of the things that, like, in the ongoing membership we're going to be doing is, like, actually this week write your story and then share it, because that's what I feel like didn't happen in the Fox project. It was like you guys were assigned so much stuff to do, but did you actually sit down and lock in and do every step of the way? So go back, write your story, literally write out how you see your life. I know it's kind of a grave way to approach it, but a really helpful way to approach what you're talking about right now is literally go and, like, if you were to pass today and people would have to write your obituary, what would they write, and would you be happy with what's in it? And or you can ask yourself, like, maybe you don't want to envision yourself dying right now. So, like, envision if, like, you're 99 years old and your kids and grandkids that you built a legacy for are remembering you. What do you want them to remember about you? And like, what qualities, like, you're not going to be like, I want them to remember my beautiful house that was white where I took really good Instagram pictures. Like, that's not what I think of. I'm thinking of, like, I want my family to remember that I had quality time with them. I want them to remember that I made memories with them. I want them to remember that I was powerful. I impacted people's lives. I gave, like, when I think of my grandpa, for example, my grandpa used to give diapers to, like, so he was a part of a AA. I know it's anonymous, but I don't think that he would be mad that I share this, but he was a part of Alcoholics Anonymous. And he literally knew, because of that, tons of family. He would literally give diapers to women when they would have babies, like, knowing, like, if they were, like, in a situation that maybe they couldn't, like, it would just be helping them. He wouldn't even pre-assume they needed the help. He just liked to help women. So when he passed, his funeral service was, like, wrapped around with people who came and who remembered what my grandpa had did for them and what he had given to them and what he had done. And he had done all these things for people. But, like, guess what? He couldn't have done that if he was struggling and he was too wrapped in his own world of, I gotta work, I gotta work, I gotta work, I gotta work, I gotta take care of me and mine. He was able, because of the life he had, he was able to take care of his 7 kids and his family and then give to people outside of that. And so, like, just ask yourself, everybody on this call, what do you want people to remember of you? And if it's to be a giving heart and a servant heart and to make a difference in the world, are you doing that right now? Because most of the time, people are not doing it right now because they have this mindset that, like, once I get my stuff together and I get my money up and I get my coins stacked, then I'm going to be able to start giving back. And one of the biggest eye-openers that my mentor ever gave me was, she said, money only magnifies who you are right now. So if you get more money and you're not giving away that money now while you don't have it, you're not going to be giving it away later. And I can attest to that. Like, as I've grown my business, I had to start implementing my tithes, my 10%, my savings, my 10%. I had to start implementing, like this is something I'm working on now, like a fund for where I want to give money to outside of those things, because otherwise the money comes in and it goes right back out and it gets right back invested. And the more you make, the more you spend. And so I would just challenge you to ask yourself, what is it that you're picturing that one day you'll do when you have more time, more money, more flexibility, more whatever? And what is it, like, that you can actually start doing today? Because that service, that, like, give will actually open up space in your life to be able to start creating the things that actually matter the most, which is usually not like a physical thing. It's usually like a sentiment or a give of some sort. So I hope that helps. I know I got long-winded there, but this is why I do what I do, because I just think way too many people die without ever, and I know none of us are dying, like, God forbid, like, God bless us, right? But I'm just saying, like, we also don't know, like, nothing is promised to us. And so we should be living our life as if it's like just another story I heard of like this woman that was dying, and what she realized was how selfish she felt like she was living prior to that point, because it wasn't until she knew she had a death sentence that she started actually living in her potential. And it took her to know she was about to die to actually step up into that. And what she learned from that was so many different levels of like just giving and serving and being present, and like all these things that we miss because we think we have so much time to get our stuff together before we actually live the life we want to live, if that makes sense. So I love this question. I appreciate you for asking it. And I think that even me sharing it, it's helping me reflect on what are the areas of my life that I'm like being too go, where I'm not actually doing the, like another area of my life has been with my family. Like I've, for the last like 3 years been like, mommy's got to work. We got to like keep this money so we can keep a roof over our head. And so I've been working more, but like at the same time, it's like you work to create this beautiful life, and then you never have the beautiful life because you're working, you know? And so it's like you, at some point I had to stop, and that's when I restructured my schedule. That's when I stopped working on certain days. That's when I stopped working at certain times of the day, because I realized if I don't do it now, I'm only going to get more busy. I'm only going to grow more. And if I'm stretching myself this thin to get to that next level, then at that next level, I'm going to have to stretch until I pop. And so it's that same concept of just look at your life and ask yourself, what do I really want, and how can I build that in? And honestly, like that's one of the topics that I have on Girl Talk is like I wanted to talk about how it's like when you really simplify what's important to you, you'll free up so much time in your schedule. And I'm not saying just you, Marissa, I'm saying all of us. Like when you start to look at your vision for your life and get in alignment with that, it literally starts to eliminate things that are not serving the way you spend your time and your money, and it frees a lot of stuff up. And sometimes that looks like the job that we're in, you know? So thank you so much for asking.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I know Jacqueline has talked to me about like she's like said like there's like 3 people she knows who she's like they need to be in the program. And so I know you were in the Fox Project. I don't know if you were the one that she wanted in Brand Me really bad, but I know that that like if that whoever that person is, like just if that's you, like lean into that, lean into whatever that calling is inside of you, whatever those ideas are, and know that there is going to take a risk and a leap, but that's where I believe faith comes in. Like just trust that God's got you, and he's going to equip you, and he's going to pick you up when you fall, and he's going to provide everything that you need, even when you like it go back to that Bible verse. And I don't know if you like what your faith base is and like how much you know the Bible, but and I need to get this verse because I like give it out all the time and I don't even know what the verse is, but it's the verse about like, do the birds want, like do the birds and like nothing that God created should ever go wanting the basic needs, because if you have your tithes are in order with God, and like your conversation with God is in order, he's going to provide all your basic needs. And so that's why my stand that I'm getting stronger and stronger in the world is like, stop chasing the lifestyle, stop chasing the security, stop chasing the things, because when you chase those, you're basically just strapping yourself further. And I'm not saying you, but I'm just speaking to us as a whole. Like you're basically strapping yourself in a further and further deeper trap, because you're chasing the wrong things. If you chase the desires of your heart, I believe God put those there so you can chase them. He's going to open up the opportunities and the doors for you, and he's going to take care of everything else. And so that's just my core belief. And I'm literally here to help as many people understand that. And that's why I built this community. Like, that's why I'm so glad you show up, you get on the calls, you stay around, because the more that you will be around people like me spitting that in your ear week after week, the more you're going to finally wake up and start believing it and taking action on it. So
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you guys for letting me just be able to share my heart and my mind. And I'm always praying about it, because I'm like, God, just like continue to give me what you want people to hear as long as this platform is in front of me. And so he's been plucking me a lot lately. Like he's been like calling me out in areas where I get to be better. And so I'm growing as a person the more I get to serve other people. And so I just appreciate you guys for just being a part of my world, and it blesses me to be a part of yours and to see you guys like just wake up to your potential and step into the desires of your heart. It like literally makes my life like so much better. So thank you. But cool, we're a little over time. I really wanted to keep these at 30 minutes. So we will be back next week. And I have some topics, but I don't know what I'm going to be talking about next week. Yeah, I got to go look at my notes, but we'll be back next week. And I hope you guys will be there. And I just hope you have a blessed week. Bye.
Bye. Have a good week.
Thank you.